Hey babe, I hope you're doing well. I have been having a bit of a slump, hence I didn't upload an episode on Monday. But the goal was never perfection. I am glad I can still show up a couple of days later. I am doing much better, to be honest. So let's just dive in. Today I want to talk about goals and the systems that help you achieve them, because we all know by now that goal setting is the gateway drug into productivity. Goals provide you with direction and motivation, and the mental reward for achieving a goal that you set for yourself is remarkable. It also really boosts your self-trust, and that is crucial to your relationship with yourself. I love that goals are result-oriented, so you know what you're working towards, which means that there's no ambiguity. Goals give you milestones that are useful when evaluating your progress, especially if the results take a while to show up. My favorite goal setting framework is the tiered goals that provide you with a guided timeline. A tiered goal is like the way you'd have annual goals, quarterly goals, monthly goals, and weekly goals. And I even have daily goals sometimes. The greatest advantage for setting a goal is that it pushes you forward. I used to think that goals are motivators because of the reward that's attached, but I now realize that the best goals are those that just make me happy. If your goal is to eat at every restaurant in your city, there's really no tangible reward except that it will make you happy. I hear people talking about the goals they've achieved, and even when it sounded silly to me, I was able to appreciate their joy at achieving that goal. I think goals are a personal challenge, and achieving them will always do something to your brain chemistry, no matter how big or small the goal is. I can boost my mood by setting a goal for my day. I like to do this when I'm having a hard time, like in the recent past. I'll negotiate with myself to get out of bed and only do one thing. And when I manage to do that one thing, I immediately feel encouraged to do something else, and another thing, and another. And then before I know it, I'm having a full day and feeling less like shit and more like my dope self. But goals are all about the future. So it gets easy to be stuck setting goals and never really achieving them. It's easy to say that you'll do something tomorrow, and when tomorrow comes, you don't do it. And that's where systems come in. A system is basically the work you have to do to get to your goal. So if your goal is to read 100 books by the end of the year, your system would focus on making you read every day for a set amount of time. You can also have a system for picking out the books that you'll read, or a system that will trigger you to read. The best systems are those that allow you to continue achieving your goals in the long term. So if you set a goal to read 100 books by the end of the year, you'll probably stop reading after the year ends. But if you create a system that gets you reading every day, you probably read just as many books, if not more, each year for as long as you enjoy reading. And the system will make this such a low effort engagement that you'll encounter little to no resistance. And that's just aspirational, to be honest. Like anything that reduces the amount of resistance that I feel when I'm trying to exert myself, that's a plus for me. You see, plans are nice, but traditionally we don't think of the obstacles that keep us from achieving the plans that we have. Sometimes I wake up with a plan to leave the house and go for a walk without accounting for the underestimated obstacle of changing out of my pajamas. Thinking of what to wear, picking it out and wearing it can often be the obstacle between me and the steps that I so love to get. With an effective system, I can plan for this obstacle. Sometimes I pick out sleepwear that I can go out in. Other times I decide on what to wear the day before, or I change out of my sleepwear as soon as I get out of bed. Changing clothes is honestly one of my biggest points of friction, to the point that I have lifted weights while wearing a dera. I have done yoga in a onesie more times than I care to admit, and as much as I am being patient with myself because I know I get it right most of the time, when I don't, I really don't. But that's okay. I just chalk it up to a restless night or emotional exhaustion, which I have been experiencing a lot of in the recent past. All this to say that Systems work when they are built with an understanding of your pain points. If your goal is to have a clean home, and your biggest pain point is doing the dishes, you can find ways to integrate doing those dishes daily to avoid creating a huge pile in the sink. The system here makes it a no-brainer for you so that you don't keep having to negotiate with yourself every time you need to take action towards your goal. For example, I have made it a habit to do dishes while cooking. If I'm in the kitchen and things need time to cook, I use the time to clean. But if I'm not cooking, I prefer to do dishes before I take a shower. That way I get done with the water once and for all. And this is especially important now because I live in a place that is a bit colder than where I was living before. Either way, I get to avoid dealing with a pile of dishes or a stinky kitchen, and I don't get overwhelmed by a simple chore. A big reason why goals don't always get achieved is that even you, in all of your wisdom, can't predict the future. A goal is often a statement of what you want the future to hold for you, and you heavily bank on that desire. Unfortunately, sometimes the universe generally cackles when we make plans, and we need to have a way to still appreciate the efforts we make, even if those plans don't turn out exactly as we wanted them to. With a system, you are shaping your identity such that even if you don't read 100 books by the end of the year, you will still notice and appreciate that you've been reading way more than you did in the previous years. If your goal was to run the 5K marathon and you don't make it, you'll still appreciate how fit you've become from the regular training. Personally, I may not be able to maintain a spotless kitchen all the time, but I'm very grateful for how easy it has become for me to clean up. The systems don't require perfection, but they make it easier for you to show up and to appreciate your showing up. So I don't know how the year is going for you and what goals you set for yourself, but I do hope you have goals that matter and systems that will get you where you want to be at the end of the year. Also, it's never too late to set a goal for the year. If you're still here, thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you're keeping warm and staying out of trouble. May the rest of your week be very intentional, okay? Bye.